life has been lifing over here and not in a good way, but we are back and we are ready to roll. The Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. The insane conversations that happen every year around the nominations. Usually these conversations are by racist people who don't want to see certain individuals or certain kinds of music in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame for the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, because I think a lot of people have an understanding of it that's incorrect. I think those arguments are stupid. People who think only rock and roll musicians should be in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. One of my personal pet peeves is they have a really terrible habit of not inducting people until after they die. Donna Summer was eligible for the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame as early as the late 1990s, but she was not inducted until 2013. Donna Summer was eligible for the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame as early as the late 1990s, but she was not inducted until 2013. Iron Maiden needs to go. This is their third nomination. This next one, blew me out of the water because I thought, is she really eligible? And yes, she is. It is Pink. Luther Vandross. Long overdue. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Brick City Brown Chick Show. I am your host, the aforementioned Chick, and sorry I have been out of commission for a minute. Life has been lifing over here and not in a good way, but we are back and we are ready to roll. This is season 4, episode 5, the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. I do this video every year where I talk about the nominees for the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and I also have an annual commentary, we'll call it, about the insane conversations that happen every year around the nominations. Usually these conversations are by racist people who don't want to see certain individuals or certain kinds of music in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. If you want an in-depth commentary about that, please check out my video from last year, which I will pin in this video. I go into a whole lot of detail about the racist people and people who don't like certain kinds of music and what's wrong with them. This year, I want to have a different conversation, and I want to talk about the criteria for the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, because I think a lot of people have an understanding of it that's incorrect. So we're going to talk about the criteria. Criteria number 1 is the 25-year rule. What does that mean? It means there must have been a minimum of 25 years since the release of an artist's first single before they can be eligible. So that is the 25-year rule. The next rule is musical excellence. What does that mean? It means, is the artist influential? Have they had an impact on artists that have come after them? Are they innovative? Have they demonstrated originality and stylistic breakthroughs? And finally, longevity, the depth and sustained relevance of an artist. One thing to clarify about longevity is it's not about how long an artist performed or how long a band was together. It has nothing to do with that. It is about how long that artist influenced future generations of musicians. And that's it. Those are the two criteria, the 25-year rule and the musical excellence rule. There's not a long list of criteria to be inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Now, a lot of the people who get all bent out of shape about this topic will tell you that's part of the problem, that the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame chooses people that are famous or that are popular or were popular, and that it's really not about musical artistry and musical excellence. I think those arguments are stupid. And like I said, they're mainly made by racist people, people who think only rock and roll musicians should be in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. And of course, we all know what that means is people who are white. That's exactly what they're saying. So it's just a ridiculous argument, and I just get tired of listening to these people complain every year about what's wrong with the Hall of Fame. Does the Hall of Fame have its challenges? It absolutely does. One of my personal pet peeves is they have a really terrible habit of not inducting people until after they die. The most egregious case of this, in my opinion, was with Donna Summer. Donna Summer was the queen of disco. You could not listen to a song or a radio station in the late 70s and early 80s and not hear Donna Summer's voice. And Donna Summer came from a gospel background. She had an amazing, theatrical, powerful voice. But for a long time, the argument with the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame was they did not want to induct disco artists because the board of directors of the Hall of Fame at that time, the people who make the final selections, felt like disco artists did not belong. But eventually that board was voted out, moved on, however you want to look at it. And in came a board that recognized Donna Summer's excellence. My issue was Donna Summer was eligible for the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame as early as the late 1990s, but she was not inducted until 2013. Donna Summer died of cancer in 2012. And so it was just, to me, an appalling oversight that went on entirely too long. So that is my main issue with the Hall of Fame, is they just have this terrible track record of waiting until an artist has passed on before they induct them. Now we're going to talk about this year's nominees, and oh boy, has there been a lot of conversation about these folks. People who are in their feelings, and I mean in their feelings, about people. My reaction to the list this year was it's a very varied list. It's lots of different types of music that are represented. But the piece that I was not appalled by, not at all angry about, but just it was a reality check for me, was two of the artists who are nominated this year are younger than I am. Donna Summer was eligible for the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame as early as the late 1990s, but she was not inducted until 2013. I am 55. So the fact that these artists have been around for more than 25 years is just flat out amazing to me, because I remember when their career started, and here we are with them being nominated. So what I'm going to do is go through the whole list of potential inductees and then talk about the ones I am pulling for at the end. Before I talk about the nominees, I am first going to talk about a few artists that I think should be in the Hall of Fame that are currently not. And some of these are people that other people feel very strongly about, but this is my personal list. So if you have a list you'd like to add to this conversation, please do so down in the comments after you watch this video. Please add bands that you think should be in the Hall of Fame that are currently not. So my list from the grunge era would be Alice in Chains and Soundgarden. From the heavy metal hard rock genre would be Anthrax and also Korn. From the rock place, I would choose Lenny Kravitz. I think Lenny Kravitz is overdue. From the grunge era, I would also choose Sonic Youth. They were sort of grunge and alternative. Also from hard rock, I would choose Motorhead. And my last two choices are from the, I guess we'll call them dance genre. One American band and one British band. American, the B-52s. The B-52s are way overdue. Rock Lobster came out in 1978, and the B-52s have never been nominated, so they are at the top of my should-be list. And also at the top of my should-be list are the Pet Shop Boys. Pet Shop Boys will celebrate their, I think, 50 years next year in 2027. So the Pet Shop Boys, West End Girls came out in 1981, so the Pet Shop Boys are also overdue. Now we'll talk about this year's nominees, starting with the Black Crowes. They are an American rock band. This is their second nomination. Jeff Buckley, who was a guitarist who died tragically young. He was in his 30s. This is his first nomination. Mariah Carey, this is her third nomination. Phil Collins as a solo artist. Phil Collins, most people know, is already in the Rock Hall with Genesis. So this would be for his solo career. This is his first nomination. Melissa Etheridge, the guitar player. This is her first nomination. Lauryn Hill, the rap artist. This would be her first nomination. Billy Idol. Billy Idol was nominated in 2025. This is his second nomination. In Excess, a great band that a lot of people probably under the age of 40 don't know or aren't familiar with, from Australia. They are an amazing band. This is their first nomination. My opinion, they are overdue. Iron Maiden. This is one people feel really strongly about. This is their third nomination. I am not a hard rock girl. I don't listen to hard rock. It's not my genre. But here's what I know. It doesn't make any sense that the bands who were influenced by Iron Maiden, bands like Guns N' Roses, are in the Hall of Fame and Iron Maiden is not. It makes zero sense. Their contemporaries, Judas Priest, are in the Hall of Fame. Black Sabbath, also from that time period, late 60s, early 70s, are also in the Hall of Fame. Iron Maiden needs to go. This is their third nomination. Joy Division, New Order. They put those bands together. The band was originally Joy Division. The Joy Division song everybody knows is Love Will Tear Us Apart. It was sung by their lead singer, Ian Curtis. Ian Curtis unfortunately struggled with mental health and took his own life just when the band was becoming popular. After his death, the members of Joy Division decided to continue on, but they didn't want to continue on as Joy Division because that was Ian's band. So they continued on as New Order. So they are up for their second nomination. New Edition. This is one of the bands that I'm just blown away by because the guys in New Edition are my age. They are in their mid to late 50s now. This is their first nomination, so I am super happy for them. Oasis. This is Oasis's third nomination, the Gallagher brothers. They are, at this point, probably more famous for fighting and not getting along than they are for their band, but Oasis has been an incredibly influential band, so they are up again this year. This nomination, this next one, blew me out of the water because I thought, Is she really eligible? And yes, she is. It is Pink. Pink is up this year. This is her very first nomination, so that's just a time trip for me. It really is. Sade, the British Nigerian artist who has sort of the silky, smoky voice. You know a Sade song when you hear it. You know the production, you know the lush feel, you know all of that. This is her second nomination, long overdue. And this is the other artist that's nomination blew me away because she is younger than I am, and that is Shakira. People were really in their feelings about Shakira's nomination. They either loved it or hated it. I think the Rock Hall needs to expand its definition of who's eligible and who should be seen. Shakira is from Colombia or Argentina. Somebody correct me in the comments about which one it is. I can't remember. But she has been a phenomenally successful artist, and so her nomination is deserved. Luther Vandross, long overdue. Luther Vandross has been dead since 2001, so it's not a question of if he's eligible. Is his record 25 years old? He's been gone 25 years. The fact that Luther Vandross has not been inducted already is highly offensive to me. And the last artist up for their first nomination is the Wu-Tang Clan. So they are the only artist that represents rap this year. There have been a lot of conversations with people about whether rap artists should be there or not. Save it and shove it. I really don't want to hear it. It's such a ridiculous argument. It's like I've actually heard people make the argument that bands like the Temptations and the Four Tops shouldn't be in the Rock Hall either, even though both of them are, because they don't play instruments. They just sing. It's such a nonsensical, ridiculous argument. So I will tell you the folks that I'm pulling for this year. You can probably already hear my excitement about certain folks. Mariah Carey. Mariah Carey is overdue. She has an amazing, beautiful voice, and just like you couldn't not walk around in the 70s and 80s and not hear Donna Summer, you could not walk around in the 90s and the early 2000s and not hear Mariah Carey. She has the musical influence and the excellence, and it's been more than 25 years. This is her third nomination. It's time for Mariah to be in the hall. I am also pulling for Phil Collins. I have a couple of Phil Collins albums, including the one that I think everybody has, which is No Jacket Required, which has songs like Sussudio on it. There was a time that you couldn't not hear a Phil Collins song. Not only was he influential in Genesis, but if you listen to Phil Collins songs like One More Night or I Don't Care Anymore, he just ran the gamut from laid back, sweet ballads to really powerful hard rock songs. So absolutely, Phil Collins should be in the hall. I hope this is a case where the hall recognizes that he should be there now and they should induct him now. Phil Collins is not in good health. He has not been in good health for several years. So I hope this is not another case where they wait until he's gone before he is recognized. So I am pulling for Phil Collins. INXS. I am so pulling for INXS this year. This is their first nomination, which is hard for me to believe. But in the late 80s and early 90s, the years I was in college, INXS was everywhere. And they were hugely successful in their home of Australia, but they were also hugely successful in the United States. Like Ian Curtis, the lead singer of Joy Division, Michael Hutchence, the lead singer of INXS, also struggled with mental health, and he also ended his life. I believe he died in 1997. So INXS has been eligible for a long time, and I think the surviving members, it would mean a lot to them, so I am pulling for INXS. Joy Division, New Order. New Order is one of my all-time favorite bands. I was lucky enough to see them a couple of years ago, and they are as phenomenal today as they were in the 1980s. Songs like Bizarre Love Triangle and Blue Monday, you know a New Order song when you hear it. You hear those synthesizers and you immediately know it's a New Order song. So I am pulling for Joy Division, New Order. New Edition. I am pulling for New Edition. That was high school years for me. Candy Girl, If It Isn't Love. There's just something very poppy and sweet and young love and young heartbreak, and New Edition was just that group, and so I am seriously pulling for them this year. Sade. I am pulling for Sade. I think there shouldn't be any discussion about whether she deserves to be there or not. She has been consistently great for 40 years. She is such an interesting artist in the way she crafts her songs, in the way her band plays behind her. There have been rumors for the last couple of years that she's going to be releasing a new album and going on a tour. The thing you have to understand about Sade is she doesn't live on anybody's timeline but hers. It might be 5 years between albums. It might be 10 years. I think this album, it's been 10 or 12 years since her last album. But nobody's going to rush her. No record company's going to push her. She's going to do it on her timetable when she's ready. So all of us who are Sade stans, especially those of us who have never seen her in person, are pulling for her for the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and also pulling for her to get this new album out and to get on the road so that we can see her. And the final artist that I am pulling for very strongly this year is Luther Vandross. As I said, Luther Vandross has been gone 25 years now, which is very hard to believe, but his catalog of songs are so amazing. Dance with My Father, Never Too Much, A House Is Not a Home, his remake of the Carpenters song. Of course, the song's gonna escape me right now. Yeah, sorry, won't come to my brain. But if you put on a Luther Vandross album, what people of the more senior generation to me, what the baby boomers call Luther Vandross and Barry White and Teddy Pendergrass and other artists from that genre, they call it baby making music like that. When you listen to Luther Vandross, that's what was going on. So he was just an artist that came up the hard way. He used to write and sing jingles before he became famous. That's how he paid the bills. And then one day he was in a studio singing background for a completely different singer. And an artist was walking by and heard his voice and waited until they finished recording the song and then opened the door and said, "Who has that lovely, amazing baritone voice? I need that for my song." The song that was created by that artist where Luther Vandross sang background is called Young American. And the artist was David Bowie. So David Bowie had a huge role to play in Luther Vandross coming to the forefront and people hearing his voice and thinking, "Oh my God, what is that? That voice is just deep and powerful and amazing." So I am pulling very hard for Luther Vandross for this year. Please, let's have a nice civil dialogue down in the comments. If you have strong feelings one way or the other about any of the artists this year, let me know why. Let me know, okay, I'm pulling for Pink and this is why. Or, I don't think Pink should be nominated because I don't think, she's still in her 40s. Why are we doing this now? Put it in the comments. But again, be civil, have real, actual reasons for why you like people, and especially have real, actual reasons for why you don't like people. If it's not your genre of music, just say, I don't like so and so. It's not my genre of music. Or, I don't like this person because I just don't like their voice. It's like nails on a blackboard. Those are fine. But don't make arguments about people who deserve or don't deserve to be there, because we all know what that's code for, and that I'm not going to deal with in my comments. So I want to thank everybody for joining me today on this adventure through the 2026 Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. I always do a follow-up video after the final selections are chosen. I think that's going to be end of June this year, where they will narrow this list down to the 5 to 7 artists that they will pick to go into the hall. If you are interested in having a say about this, there is a fan vote, and I believe it's vote.rockhall.com, something to that effect. If you put fan vote Rock and Roll Hall of Fame into Google or whatever search engine you use, it will come up. You can vote once a day, every day from now until whenever they close the voting. I think it's mid-April, maybe end of April. So you can pick 7 artists a day that you would like to see in the hall. So as a fan, you can do that. Just understand that whoever makes the top 7 of the fan list is not an automatic. The Rock Hall can still choose who they want to choose. A big example of this was last year with Fish. Fish was up for the first time. They ran away with the fan vote. Did the Rock Hall pick Fish? They did not. Do I think they will pick Fish? I do. Fish are in their 50s. They are on the younger end. So I think they will be nominated again and ultimately chosen. But they ran away with the fan vote and they were not selected. So just understand, when you vote, they may choose who you like or they may not, but at least you've had your say. Okay? I want to thank everybody for joining me this week, and I look forward to seeing you next time. Take care.